know. I really don't know.
Do you have a hard time saying no or feel guilty when you have to say no to someone? Do you constantly wonder what other people think about you? Do you find yourself doing things that you don't actually like to do? Well, if you have any or a couple of these signs, you may be suffering from being a people pleaser. Welcome to the club. Over the years, I have slowly learned how to stop being such a people pleaser and stop caring so much about what other people think about me. Don't get me wrong, I still care, but not to the extent that I used to. And I also know that this is something that I'm gonna constantly have to work on. Lucky for you, I have compiled 4 tips to help stop being such a people pleaser and to stop caring so much about what other people think about you. Tip number 1. Easier said than done. When there's an opportunity arises, say no. If saying no is too hard and you need to build yourself up to it, try stalling. Let me explain. So you want to say no. Start with the very, very small minor things. For example, when you're out at a restaurant with a friend, with whoever, I don't know about you, but I used to just go along with whatever the other person orders. For example, they're like, oh, do you like this appetizer? Want to share it? And I don't even think twice, I'm just like, yes. Just because like, I don't want to say no. There's something about saying no that I just didn't like back then. I just went along even though I didn't want that appetizer. So start with something minor like that. Say no to that entree, say no to the appetizer. It's a very, very low risk. And as you say no to these minor things, it slowly builds up your tolerance to say no to other bigger things. So work your way up to say no to the bigger ticket items, but start with the smaller ones. If these smaller items are a little too hard for you, because I get it, like saying no is super, super hard. Try stalling. By stalling, I mean like tell the other person, hey, I need time to think about it. Or hey, can you give me a couple of days to think about it? Basically, push off the time that you need to make that decision. So you can step back, actually think about, wait, do I have the time to do this? Do I have the bandwidth to do this? Do I want to do this? Before giving someone an answer. In general, it is good to learn how to answer immediately and how to give someone an answer right away. But of course, everyone has to start somewhere. And if you need to like take a step back, need some time to reflect, simply ask for it. Tip number 2 goes hand in hand with tip number 1. When you say no, don't over explain, don't over justify things. I know I have a tendency to like give people a slew of reasons for why I said no, but they don't need that reason. They don't need all that justification. No is enough. No is a complete sentence. So the next time you say no to someone, don't feel like you need to give them a list of items, a list of reasons why you can't do this for them or why you don't want to do something. Just say no. Number 3, figure out who you are. You may think, okay, this is such a weird tip. No, but actually figure out who you are, because other people's opinions of you should not affect your intrinsic value. This is where you actually have to do some introspection and really think about yourself. Like, what are your values? What do you like to do? I used to be the person who would just be a follower and like just do what other people were doing, but not really think about, wait, do I actually like doing this, or am I doing it because other people are doing it? Sometimes we spend so much time thinking about other people and what they will think about us that we don't stop to think about ourselves and what we like and who we are. Take that time and figure out, who are you? And don't forget, your intrinsic value has nothing to do with what other people think about you. And tip number 4, realize everyone is worrying about themselves. We are all very selfish creatures. So you may think that other people are worrying about you, but think about it. Take a step back. You're worrying about what other people think about you, right? Chances are the next person is worrying about the same thing. So everyone's just worried about how their image is. Don't actually think too much about other people. They're just concerned about themselves. I'm really concerned about myself. Like, don't get me wrong, I love my friends, I think with my friends and stuff. At the end of the day, everyone's just worried about themselves and they're not paying that much attention to you. They're not gonna notice those little things that you think are a big deal. So for example, like one thing I used to really be self-conscious about, and I still kind of am, is just like, oh my God, I have a pimple on my nose or a pimple on my cheek or whatever. People, sure, they may glance at it and notice, okay, she has a pimple, but they don't care. That's as far as that thought goes. It's not as big as you think about it in your head. Like, I know I would just blow out proportion in my head. People don't actually think that much into it. They just say, okay, you have X. Cool, and move on with their lives. They don't ruminate about the things that you're worrying about. I think it's so helpful to just keep in mind that people are worrying about their own lives. They're preoccupied with their own things going on. So they're really not thinking that much about you. And that kind of helps ease things, because I'm just like, wait, people don't actually care that much. So why should I care that much? So from one former people pleaser to another, I wish you the best of luck. Let me know if any of these tips work for you, and feel free to share any of your own tips. And with that, I need to catch my train back to the city, so I'll see you in my next video. Bye.